What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday. Today, we're going to be discussing a very cool topic that I don't feel like you hear about a lot. So, obviously, there are very little things that can put a damper in your Disney plans, but do not let a rainy day be what ruins your Disney day. It is still going to be magical, and we're going to give you some tips and tricks on how to do that. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into today's episode, and we hope you enjoy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another magical episode of the Why We Disney podcast. My name is Kara, and I'm brought to you by my most magical co-host, Kaycee.
Hello.
So we all know that Disney is the most magical place on earth, but what happens when it rains? There isn't many things that can kill my mood, especially when I straighten my hair.
Right.
But when it rains, it can really put like a dapper on your plans. Like it can completely throw off your itinerary, right? And so Kaycee thought of this really cool idea of talking about things that you can do at Disney World, specifically in the Disney parks, to still make it a magical experience.
Right. Absolutely. So, Kara, let's go ahead and talk about some logistics, right? Because I don't know why, but like everyone these days, like want a refund. If anything doesn't go your way, I want a refund. All right, let's not be Karens out there, y'all. Come on. So if you let's say you have a park reservation on a Friday and it is said to completely downpour the entire day, which is super rare, by the way. It doesn't normally rain all day, a few hours of your day, but let's just say there's a hurricane and it's going to rain all day. They will absolutely not give you a refund for your ticket. There has to be like some crazy circumstance for you to be able to get a refund. But what you can do and what they will do often is they will allow you to move your park reservation to another day, depending on the availability. So that is an option to you, but I would never make that be your first thing to do, right? Is try to move the day. Because there's so many great things. There's so many magical things that we can do, that we can experience while it is raining in Disney World or Disneyland Paris, anywhere. There's so many things that we can do, and we want to be proactive about that, right? We don't want to be silly people that don't plan. What are you doing?
No, we are planners here on the podcast.
We are, okay? We want to be planned and prepared. We want to be ready for anything, right? All right, so for Florida, it pretty much rains super often. So I'm just going to talk about Florida here a few seconds. So I know it obviously can rain in Disneyland, but in Florida, because the humidity and because of where it's located, you might get 1 to 3 hours of a shower almost every single day. Sometimes it happens overnight, and sometimes you might just have the most beautiful, perfect day in Disney World and it doesn't rain at all, which, I mean, I've had many of those days, and Kara has as well, right?
And I mean, have you recently seen the TikToks, the Instagram? Oh, did you see the serious flooding that was happening in
the
Disney?
Flooding in the parks? Yes. Mm-hmm. I was like, this was not today. There's no way. This was years ago. And it was literally just a few weeks ago.
I swear, like it's just coming up on my For You page on TikTok because we're about to do this episode. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that we're talking about all these things that people can do.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're already in the Disney park that day and it begins to rain, there are plenty of fun things that you can do during the storm. Let's just pause really quick for one of our amazing ad breaks, and we will be right back. But don't go anywhere. We have so much information for you.
All right, guys, so it was a quick ad break, and I hope that you have your pen and pencil out because, as per usual, Kaycee and I are giving you some amazing information on what you should be packing to prepare for that Florida rain. First things first, a rain jacket. If you don't mind wearing one, I always say that I'm allergic to jackets because I don't like wearing them. Am I actually allergic? No, I just hate wearing jackets. But if you don't mind one and it's definitely calling for rain, just throw a rain jacket in the bag. Ponchos. You can buy these at Walt Disney World for $12.99 for adults or $10.99 for kids. And these ponchos are plastic and they're the like higher quality because it's thicker, right?
Right. Yeah. It's not like the ones that you buy on Amazon that are like plastic, like you could break it easily, you know?
I'm going to say that I am the one that buys them at the dollar store.
Yes.
You just throw a couple in the bag and it doesn't really matter. But the ones at Disney World are higher quality. So if you really are wearing something expensive, like a nice dress or like your lounge fly, like watch yourself and just get one of the ones at the park.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and I want to mention one thing. So you're not going to see these ponchos out on display. So if you go into a gift shop and you look around and they're not there, don't just walk out and think that they don't have ponchos. So make sure that you ask the cast member behind the cash register, and they're always underneath the cash register. I think because it's something that's so easy to steal, so they just keep them under the cash register. So they're pretty much in any gift shop and most like hotels as well. So yeah, don't forget to pick one of those up. It happens. Sometimes we forget to bring our poncho or order them on Amazon or whatever the case.
And something else other than a poncho is obviously a compact umbrella. Now, fair warning that these can go off in the metal detectors, but you are allowed to bring them into the parks. So if you don't want to like be holding that in your hand, just have one that fits into your backpack and you are good to go. Something else that you can pack is either an extra pair of shoes or socks. And this is for really when you know that it's going to rain. Like, you know that your feet are going to get drenched at some point. You could do that, a waterproof hat. And for our families out there, it's really nice if you have a stroller cover. And this is super easy to forget.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to say too, like for kids, like there is nothing more miserable than walking around Disney in wet tennis shoes. Like, Kara, is there anything more miserable?
Probably not.
So absolutely. These are definitely things that maybe you would forget to bring on your Disney trip, and something that like you don't want to have to purchase extra there. And a stroller cover, holy crap, like I would forget that. Come on.
For sure. But there's probably a lot of activities that people can do and people don't know about that you can do at the parks. So do you mind telling our listeners what's up there?
Yes, yes. So let's talk about what to do if a temporary shower comes along on your park day, where you can go, what you can do, right? Okay. So the number one thing is enjoy a sit down meal. If it starts to rain in the middle of the day and you don't want to continue to walk and ride rides, and possibly some rides might be closed, try to either find a reservation or walk up to a quick service meal and sit down inside. And like I said, the showers in Florida are typically very short. So probably most likely by the time you finish up, the rain is gone and you can go throughout your day, right? The number 2 recommendation, and this is actually my number one thing that I recommend to any family that asks me this, is to enjoy an indoor show. Frozen Ever After, I'll do it 3 times a day. Like, it's just one of my absolute favorites. Enjoy an indoor show or an indoor attraction. A lot of the ones at Walt Disney World, Kara, you can tell me if they are at Disneyland, but I know the queues for a lot of them in Disney World are covered, most of them. Is that the same in Disneyland?
No, they are not. I don't know. We talked about this on a different episode, but they're not covered because it doesn't really rain in Anaheim, California. And so that's not something, when they were first building Disneyland and even doing some of the expansions, that they weren't thinking about these covered queues.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, that's my actual number 1 recommendation, what I would say to do. Kara, let me know which one is your number 1 recommendation out of these, but I'll go on to my next one. So my next one would be go ahead and resort hop. So there is so much more. We say this all the time. There's so much more to Disney than just the parks, right? You have the resorts, you have Disney Springs, you have all these amazing places where you can walk and see. So I would, if you're at a place like when you have access to either the Skyliner or the monorail, that's something really easy that you guys can leave, go see a resort that you're not staying at or that you've never seen before. Mm-hmm. That's a recommendation I would make.
Yeah. I love that. And there's so many different ways of transportation too, that like you might not have to wait for the bus. You could just maybe hop on the Skyliner if it's not too bad of a storm, or you could take the ferry boat or do something. So there's different ways to get there.
Yeah. And keep in mind too, if you're on the opposite of this and you're okay with getting rained on all day, which is a fine thing. I mean, I've been rained on in a complete downpour. But also the lines get really short because most of the people are doing what we're recommending, right? They're going to sit down at a restaurant. They're going to park hop somewhere. They're going to go back to their resort or whatever the case. So those lines might actually go down if it rains. So some people consider that like a reason to stay and just be like, I'm fine with the rain. It's all good.
Just wait it out.
wait it out. I'm in Disney World, right?
Just go on
Right.
Splash Mountain. You're wet anyway.
You might as well just go ride Splash. Okay, that's a good. Actually, that might be my number one recommendation is just go ride Splash. So my number 4 recommendation would be if you're staying on property, go back to your resort, sit down, kind of take a rest. If you have small children, maybe let them lay down for a little bit, watch TV, get refreshed, maybe change your shoes, and then hop on the monorail or the Skyliner, take the bus back to the parks once the rain starts to slow down. I recommend this option just a lot of times with kids because Disney is exhausting. We walk 10 miles a day every day. It just is what it is. You can't avoid it hardly. But so that nice rest, that nice refresh is so great because when you come back and you get refreshed, you're ready to take on the rest of the day. No hesitation, right?
I think this one is my number 1.
Okay.
Like when it's raining and you can just go back to the room and put on Happily Ever After or put on the Mickey shorts and just chill at your resort. And I think it's the only time that I'm just like, okay, we're chilling at Disney World. Like, and it's like, as a person that struggles with anxiety, I'll say it again. Like, I don't relax. I do not. Like, even at Disney, as we all know, you rope drop till park close and like it's go, go, go. But then when it's raining, it's like, okay, I get it. Disney gods, I understand. I will sit down and relax and chill.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I love that so much. And also, I mean, I'm just going to be honest, a lot of the monorail resorts are pretty pricey. So if you're not staying in a monorail resort, I always recommend jumping on the monorail. Like, it's such a cool, fun ride. And it's something that, you know, they've had for a very long time, very nostalgic. And if you've never been on the monorail and you've been to Disney World, I think you're missing a piece of the magic. Would you not agree?
Absolutely. It's just a classic ride.
Yeah, it's a classic ride. And the monorail is just great. And it's comfortable, it's cool in there, nice during the rain because it's all the windows are open, like it's not closed out. Like you can't see out or anything. It's just a really cool thing. And you can see the castle and all the fancy resorts. Come on, riding the monorail. I like this one. All right. I could catch a rainy day cavalcade. Now, I've only caught one of these like maybe 1 or 2 times because a lot of times I'm going back to the resort if it rains, just to be honest. But so these are special cavalcades that they bring out right before or right after the rain. And you get to see Mickey and his friends in their rain gear, which is not a type of gear that they're normally in. So getting pictures with them and taking pictures of them in like a completely different outfit, that's kind of rare. I think is super cool. But you have to get lucky. You have to be in the right place at the right time to see those cavalcades. Kara, have you seen one of these rainy day cavalcades?
You know what? You're talking about it, and I just can't remember. I can't remember if my mind's playing tricks on me. Like, yes, Kara, you did see it, or no, like they canceled it. You thought you were going to see it, and then it was just a parade. So, like, I really don't remember. But
okay, this happens to me a lot. When I see something on Instagram and like later I'm asked about it, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that in person, but I've really only ever seen it on Instagram.
And especially because, like, you know, as a Disney enthusiast, I watch Disney food blog like it's my literal paying job. And so I'm just like, did I see that in my life or was that Disney food blog? So I don't remember. I did see it online at least.
Yes. Wait, did I dream that? It's such a thing, y'all. Listen, we have Disney dementia. It's a thing.
Because, you know, we are loyal to you guys, just like I'm loyal to the Disney food blog. And we have our loyal listeners that come back every single time for even these amazing podcast episodes like Rainy Days at Disney. And we just want to give that information to you. But before we round out this episode, it is challenge time. Just like you have a challenge to figure out what's going on when it's a rainy day, we are going to challenge you. So let's see how much you guys know about Disney movies. Okay, so if you're watching here on YouTube, comment below any Disney movie that has a rainy scene. It's raining, it has a rainy scene. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, head over to our Instagram and comment on our rainy day post. Okay, and be honest. Don't Google it. Okay, we will pick a winner that has the best or most uncommon answer, and that winner will receive one adult or child poncho directly from the Disney parks. And we're going to ship it to the winner once it's announced. So this is just our little bit of a gift back to all of you that are, appreciating the podcast and listening to these little tidbits of information that we can share along with you guys to keep your days magical while it rains at Disney.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And Kara, can you think of a movie off the top of your head that has a rainy scene in it?
For some reason, the one that's coming to mind is like Ichabod, Mr. Ichabod, maybe.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So the only one, and literally, the only reason why I'm thinking about this is because I watched it yesterday. But go ahead. What is it?
It's the Aristocats.
The Aristocats rainy scene.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, so I watched this yesterday, which is the only reason why it popped in my head when Kara was talking. But in Ratatouille, right at the beginning, when the lady like shoots up her entire house and the rats are running away, it is pouring down rain. So obviously you can't use either one of these two answers because we mentioned them on the podcast. But please, if you know of a older Disney movie or maybe one that we wouldn't think of, if there's a rainy scene in it, comment down below if you're on YouTube and go to our Instagram and comment on our rainy day post for that. We would love to send you guys a poncho. So we'll announce the winner and make sure to get that out as soon as we can. Any final thoughts, Kara, on this episode?
No, absolutely. Again, you guys are such loyal listeners. I just want to say thank you to this individual that rated us 5 stars and gave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you want to be mentioned on our episode, make sure to go ahead and give us a 5-star review so we know that you love the Why We Disney podcast.
We love you guys so much. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Patreon. We would love it if you do that. Email us at whywedisney@gmail.com. We love you guys. Happy Wednesday. Have an awesome week in the rain or shine or wherever you are. We hope you guys have a great week. We'll see you soon. Bye.